Welcome everyone to another chat here on Hangfire. Today I'm joined by one of the great Stones guitar players on YouTube. Jeremy's work on his YouTube channel is extensive, complete, and a must visit for all Stones fans. I am so excited to talk to him today to geek out on all guitar things related to the Rolling Stones. If you haven't checked out his channel, it's a must check out. Make sure you do. It's with great pleasure to welcome Jeremy Barres. Jeremy, welcome.
Hi, Justin. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your invitation.
Oh, absolutely. The pleasure is all mine and everyone on YouTube, because I'm pretty sure a good percentage of people watching has seen your channel and has seen your work and are super excited to know more about you and how you do this wonderful work. So we're looking forward to chatting.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to first know, let's start just a little bit in the beginning. What were your first Stones memories? You know, your first songs you heard, the first songs you learned on guitar. What were your early memories there?
The first time I heard the Rolling Stones was on television, and during the broadcast of the 1989 Atlantic City concert from Still With Tour. And at that time, YouTube didn't exist, and the internet didn't exist. But that day, I had the sound and the picture at the same time, and because that was on television. And I remember precisely that at that moment, everything around me suddenly began to matter much less. Both the good and the bad, everything. And it was the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. And the picture matched perfectly with what I was hearing. And today, that feeling remains intact. 30 years later, for me, the Rolling Stones music is the most beautiful sound I can hear. My parents had a guitar at my house, and after seeing the Atlantic City concert, I started strumming it, but just the open strings. And that was also the time when CDs came into being. I got Voodoo Lounge on CD, and then I wanted to play the guitar, but I wanted to play guitar only to play the Rolling Stones songs. And that was my sole intention and my sole purpose. I learned to play guitar by ear with the Voodoo Lounge CD.
Really?
Really. And back then, when you had a CD, you had time to listen it 1,000 times before getting a new one. So you knew it very well.
That's right. What songs on Voodoo Lounge were the first ones that you was like, oh, I got to learn this?
Love is Strong.
Oh, yeah. And you were in standard tuning, or you went straight to open G?
Standard tuning.
So you didn't know yet?
No. and I remember that I've learned with I did a mix with the CDs and the television. I hear that, and when I see when I see Keith Richards on television, sometimes he plays just the open strings, and it sounds good. Why? And but
Yeah.
that's how I started. Yeah.
And you didn't know that he was in a different tuning, and then you learned later, huh?
Yeah. And I never intended to embark on a major project. And after COVID, I created a YouTube channel, and I published what I did best, and that was playing Rolling Stones music on guitar. And with this video, collection of Mick Taylor's best solos, things took off. And today, this video has exceeded 400,000 views. Does it make sense?
Fantastic. Yeah,
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay. And since I love doing this and I do it with my heart, I continue.
Yes. Well, you must continue. And I really hope that everyone who's listening will go and check out your channel. I will put a link in the description. But for those who don't know, Jeremy's work is exhaustive, extremely meticulous, getting inside the Stones guitar world because, it's that Keith Richards phrase of the ancient form of weaving. And he's always talked about the ancient form of weaving of the two guitars between Keith and Ronnie, how they mesh together in all different parts. You don't know who's playing what, who's playing lead, who's playing rhythm. And now finally, you go to Jeremy's channel and you can see and hear all those parts happening and seeing it. And it's quite a sight. And it's a beautiful thing to watch because finally the world of the Stones guitars opens and you're finally like, oh, this is the universe that he's talking about, and you can hear every detail. And so it's really an amazing thing to watch whenever you put up a new song because it's really a chance to really get inside the song finally. And so I'm very curious about just the preparation, the prep work involved in doing this. So how do you figure out all the parts? Can you tell us everything about how you put these things together?
Okay. I simply use my ears. I simply use my ears. I use my records and my ears. It takes time. You have to be patient. I try to make sure I find the right fingerings. And I think my videos offer the right fingerings, with maybe a few exceptions because I'm not infallible.
I'm shocked to hear that because it's ever since I was playing guitar and I would listen to the Rolling Stones and just listen to them, I either I have bad ears or I'm not patient because I can't always get all the parts. So you don't use any kind of software or anything to kind of separate the tracks or anything. It's just listening to the song over and over.
Yes, yes. With the headphones to have the good to have the yes to have the good stereo, right channel and the left channel.
How many times do you listen to the song until you finally get all the parts, you think?
Okay, I understand. It depends about each song. Some some songs and ah for the guitar to find the good fingerings. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to to um, to find the good fingerings, and on the other end, sometimes it takes time to 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 um, to find who plays what, especially on Emotional Rescue album.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially on Dance Part One. This is this is crazy because I have the sensation that during Dance Part One, Keith part start at the beginning of the song is on the left channel, and later the same guitar is on the right channel. That's something difficult. Sometimes it's difficult, very difficult with an album like Voodoo Lounge because there are a lot of guitar parts.
That was always my difficulty learning too, was because that you can guess, oh, Keith is on the left side, Ronnie's on the right, but you can't depend on that rule when you're listening because of what you just said. They will switch the mix of the guitars or what side is on what side, and so that makes it very difficult for you to depend on, oh, anything that's on the left side is either Keith or Ronnie, or anything on the right is Keith or Ronnie. No, you can't. You have to really know how they play to identify, oh, now he's on the right. Oh, now he's on the left. You have to really know their style You have to know the way they play, and
Yeah.
then that's what makes you realize, oh yeah, Keith is over here now. I mean, that's a tough job.
Yes. I mean the sensibility of of the guitar playing, the vibrato, the bends too. That you can recognize them by that.
What was the hardest song so far that you had to understand and dissect? Which was the hardest?
Mick Taylor spot on Midnight Trembler from Brussels 73 live.
Really?
Because he plays it in a very lyrical way, which is typical of the blues style. It's typical of the Rolling Stones music. It's not necessarily difficult to play. It's difficult to reproduce with the same intention. You have the even if you have the good fingerings, it's very difficult to play it with the same intention.
What do you mean by that intention? Is it the feeling? Is it the attack? Is it
No, the
all
feeling.
of it?
The feeling. I don't know them personally, but I think they are very sincere, and that's why it is. That's why what I think is very difficult to play it with the same intention.
I'm surprised to hear you say that it was the Mick Taylor solo, because, you know, I saw all your videos from the Emotional Rescue album you did, and I thought those were very difficult to do. But it's different. It must be difficult in a different way, because
Yes,
with the Mick Taylor, his work is so exact and precise.
I agree.
His solos.
I agree. Running, when Ronald's playing is difficult to reproduce, but in a different way, because he don't play the same thing twice. Does it make sense?
That's right. That's right. That's
so
exactly right. Yeah.
I don't make cheats, but I take some notes on the like uh, like this. I take some notes on a piece of paper, uh, because sometimes the difficulties of the Ronwood parts, guitar parts, are they change all the time.
Take a song like Summer Romance, which you did
Yeah.
on your channel. You broke apart the guitar parts of what Keith was doing, what Ronnie was doing, and Scott and I couldn't understand how you were able to get all of Ronnie's little licks, all of his nuances, all of the fills exactly as it was in the recording, because they're so random. Did you have notes for every single one of those, or did you memorize every single one of those? Because they're just not specific.
Both. Does it make sense? I memorize the guitar parts, and I memorize them with notes on a piece of paper. I played the guitar parts again and again and again and again, with the Rolling Stones track, with the CD, and when I think I'm ready, I record it with the camera and everything.
So when you're listening back as you're recording, that's the original song. You didn't use any software to take out any guitars or any instruments.
No, because I'm not very good on computer and everything, and I didn't learn with that, and I'm still learn. I still learn with those things.
With that being said, what do you think is the Stones' best guitar masterpiece? What is their most incredible, intricate guitar work?
For me, the original version of Gimme Shelter from Let It Bleed album, or maybe the original version of Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Yes,
But
interesting.
for me, this is the best one is the original version of Gimme Shelter.
Why is that? What's so special about that?
When you hear it, you feel something. This is not just music. And you, I remember precisely. I was thinking, he's not just playing guitar. He says something with those strings. I think the original version of Gimme Shelter says something with playing guitar, just with the intro.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone has talked about this song. There's so many words being said about "Gimme Shelter," but I have to admit, it's a cliche. It's totally repeated, but that intro still scares the hell out of me. It's spooky.
Thank you. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
that in the first 5 seconds are absolutely, it's like a ghost. It's so freaky and scary.
I didn't have the words, but I agree with that. I agree with that, Justin. Yes. It happens. It happens something with that intro.
How do you feel about Keith playing that on stage? Because he doesn't do the exact intro on stage. He does a different version of that. Does that make you angry or make you frustrated?
No, he has a different fingerings when he played with the Rolling Stones since Still Will Stoop, and he has a different fingerings when he play with the Winos. If you can see the Boston 93, you can see precisely.
Why do you think he does that? Because in the Winos, he kind of plays it very close like the original on the studio, no?
Yeah. Yes, I think I agree. I agree.
And then when he plays, with the Stones, he starts off like over there on the ninth fret for the C sharp, that kind of, and he goes to 7 and then 5 for each one. Why do you think, is that easier? It's just interesting,
I think my opinion is that he uses a fingering for a standard tuning, because the original version he used open tuning, and this is the same with a song like Monkey Man. Not with the tuning, but on the original version, I think he used the capo on 7th fret. And my video on YouTube is not like this. I know I made a mistake, but when he play Monkey Man live on the Voodoo Lounge 2, he played it with no capo, and the original version on the Let It Bleed album, I think he used the capo on the 2nd fret, because the E chord, he play a D position with the capo on the 2nd fret.
See, and these are the kind of things that people kind of get lost when they look at the Rolling Stones as guitar players, that there's all these little details, all these little rules, all these things you have to know. How would you describe the different styles between Brian Jones versus Mick Taylor and Ronnie Wood, and those three guys? Were they all very different guitar players, or are they the same in some ways?
Brian Jones's playing style is typical of the blues pioneer, and it's never hidden it. And on the other hand, the element that strongly marks the history of the Rolling Stones during Brian Jones's era is that he was also a multi-instrumentalist, and especially during the aftermath period. And but that's because he lost interest in the guitar. Mick Taylor is the blues virtuoso, and he joined the band at a time when Keith Richards and Mick Jagger were at their creative peak. And Ronnie has a very particular style. I think he's a band guitarist.
He's really such a blend between, Keith
Yeah,
and a little bit of Mick Taylor, because he can do the lead work, but like you say, he's not a virtuoso, but he has such a
no,
strong sense of rhythm in his
wait,
playing, you
yes,
know,
yes.
and it's amazing.
I really think he plays the guitar with a lot of finesse, and sometimes I read the comments on my YouTube channel, and on the Runwood era, and I don't like to read that. But I did this channel, and with the idea that everyone has the right to have his own opinion, and I respect that. But mine is that Ronnie plays the guitar with a lot of finesse, really, and if often plays with two fingers, with his left hand, with the index and the middle finger, and a bit like Django Reinhardt.
Really? Okay,
And
interesting.
I think Ronnie is the right person to be with Keith and Mick Jagger.
Do you remember when Paul McCartney, a couple years ago, he referred to the Stones as just a blues band? That was
Yeah.
his very generic quote. And whenever I listen to Ronnie play, I always think of that, because it's like his phrasing, his ideas on the guitar, they really come from a very soulful blues spot, and not this big rock and roll hard rock spot. Like his lines and his playing, they're not like Slash.
No.
They're very wild and big. They're very controlled and heavy and very blues weighted to me, and I don't think people realize that.
I agree. I agree.
And Mick Taylor, he was both a great rhythm player too, and lead player. Do you think that you agree with Keith and a lot of people's idea that back then when Mick Taylor was there, it was very separate? Like, oh, they weren't blending as much. Keith was doing more rhythm, and lead work was on Mick Taylor, so there wasn't much of a weaving. Do you believe that was the case, or they were still weaving even then?
Sometimes maybe, but not all the time. And yes, uh, uh, we Ronwood and Keith Richards are more like twins.
Yeah.
With the I speak about the guitar playing when they play together, and they do the Rolling Stones music. They, I they certainly more than twins with the sound. But I don't think that at the Mick Taylor's era they were totally separate. They really, I think they really played together, but in a different way. And that was they did very beautiful music at that era too. But I think that was this is a different way of playing, a different way to play.
I very much enjoyed your video deconstructing the solo from Winter. That was one of the most iconic solos of Mick Taylor, and it's everyone's favorite. Everyone loves that one. How much time does it take to get the sound and the tone for a Mick Taylor? Is there a secret recipe or ingredients to get the tone for Mick Taylor?
No, 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 but no. I take time to search the good sound with the plugins with the computer. But the most what it takes time really is to tune the guitar like the original version. It takes to have the good tunings, and this is with making all those videos. I discovered the most important thing I have learned is that is to add when you play with the original track or with the Rolling Stones track on back. It's very difficult to have the same song, the same sound all the time, even with the good fingerings, because I don't have the same guitar. Sometimes I don't have the same um I don't have the same fingers. I don't have I don't have the same I don't know the word. I don't have the same um the same strings,
Yeah,
probably,
right.
probably. And my guitar is maybe much more is maybe more used at in this part of the neck, and maybe the Keith Richards guitar is more used on that part of the neck. I don't know, but a lot of things that to have the same, to be very correctly with the tuning all the time and all the song, it's very difficult. I do my best, but I hear that sometimes the tuning is not right at 100% all the time.
I never would have realized that, but that must be very difficult. Because like take for example, Jumpin' Jack Flash. I mean, Jumpin' Jack
Yes.
Flash is supposed to be in B, but doesn't the tape run a little slow or something, or it could be a tuning, but it's a little flat.
Yes. Yes, it is. Between B and B flat. I don't.
I mean, what do you? That's crazy. I mean, what are you supposed to do as a guitar player? You know, you can't. You gotta match it if you really want to play along to it.
Yeah. I tune the guitar to have the same sound, but sometimes it's you I I go crazy.
Yeah, I bet. I never would have thought of that. That's a
This is the
problem. But
this is the most difficult time. This is the most difficult thing to reproduce.
well, you know, a lot of people who are watching are guitar players, and maybe they are beginners and just starting out on guitar. Are there songs that you could recommend that guitar players who are just starting out would have fun learning?
Honky Tonk Woman, because of the open strings and because of the open tuning and because of the feeling of the song. And mm, that was, I remember when I started to play guitar, I just played the open strings. I was young, very young, and I remember precisely that what I wanted is that just feel something and feel something to I just tried to have a similar feeling of that music by playing open strings. even even if the sound was wrong.
Well, even if the sound is wrong, it's still
But
fun.
I was very young. Yes.
Well, in this whole journey, Jeremy, that you've started with the channel, and you are a professional musician, so you play guitar and play music with other people.
Oui.
Has this project and has this work you've done with deconstructing the Rolling Stones guitars, has that given you any kind of new appreciation for a song or any specific guitar parts that the Stones have done?
I am. I will say just in the entire album Between the Buttons, because it's much more inventive musically than I always thought. It's not just pop music.
Wow. I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that because, I don't think many people realize, well, it's like for the Rolling Stones, they started on Beggar's Banquet. For a lot of people, that's the starting point for their history, not realizing that, oh yeah, there was a history before Beggar's Banquet, you know. And of course, we know Satisfaction, Get Off My Cloud, and all those things. But especially the albums, no one knows anything before Beggar's Banquet. And I also fell in love with Between the Buttons a couple years ago. I was very surprised just how complex the music was, and very English, a very English album to me.
I agree. I agree.
Well, before we go, Jeremy, as we wrap up, I want to ask, how would you describe the Stones' music? What makes their music more special than any other music?
Ha! I love that question, and at the same time, I don't have the answer. Why is this music is so special? Honestly, I have no idea. It unites so many people. Why do so many people feel concerned? Why does this music make us feel that everything around us suddenly matters so much less? I don't know. But but I feel it too, and I'm very happy by that.
Well, Jeremy, this was an absolute joy to speak with you. I've been wanting to do this for so long that I'm so happy we finally got to do it. And again, everyone should go check out Jeremy Barris's channel here on YouTube. The YouTube name is his name, which you can see in the bottom of the screen, and there's a link in the description below. And again, this is your home base for really getting both the Keith Richards, the Ronnie Wood, the Mick Taylor, the Brian Jones parts down, because he does such an incredible job that you won't regret it. Jeremy, thank you so very much, and we'll hopefully see you again next time.
I have loved to speak with you, Justin. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.